Senator Rand Paul. Senator Paul, it's a pleasure. Welcome back to Freedom Watch. What do you make of the president's comments today, where he interprets them as saying, well, the government had nothing to do with this. It was the fault of the banks, and these characters in Wall Street understand that. He's almost saying, I support them. I'd be out there with them.
Well, I've got news for the president. You know, he says he has independent economists who say that his jobs plan is the way to go. Well, I've got the names of thousands of economists who say that raising taxes in a recession is the wrong thing to do. In fact, the head of CBO, which is a nonpartisan group, said raising taxes in the middle of a recession would be a huge mistake. As far as this Occupy Wall Street movement goes, you know, I see it sort of like a Paris mob. I see the president's rhetoric of envy and inflaming the public and saying, go get yours because rich people don't deserve it. I see it as inflaming this Paris mob that I hope doesn't ultimately result in a lawlessness where they say, well, gosh, those nice iPads through the window should be mine, and why don't I throw a brick through the window to get them because rich people don't deserve to have them when I can't have one.
You know, I'm a little bewildered by the mob, Senator Paul, because while some of them are saying we want guaranteed work and we want guaranteed income and we want the federal government to guarantee all of this, some are saying the banks shouldn't have gotten this money. The feds shouldn't be funneling tax dollars through their favorite corporations. And some of them are even saying, one will after you later on this show, I believe, the Federal Reserve is at the root of a lot of this by printing the money that the federal government gives out in the first place.
I think, you know, when you have bad economic times, people complain for a lot of different reasons. I think I've just been annoyed by some of them they've interviewed. They said, if a CEO came down and offered you a job, would you take it? Oh, no, I will never work for those evil corporate people. And it's like that kind of mindlessness just really, you know, they're there on their iPhone made by Apple Incorporated. They're wearing designer jeans their parents bought for them. That's the kind of stuff I'm annoyed with when they say corporations are evil. Corporations are businesses. They're individuals, you know. But I do agree with people who say we shouldn't be bailing out bankers and the taxpayer shouldn't be paying big bonuses to banks that fail. That I do agree with.
Switching gears a little bit, I think you recently introduced legislation that has to do with reinforcing certain aspects of the infrastructure. What is it? Who supports it with you? And what do you think the White House will do if it ever makes its way there?
Well, my bill would take, right now we take 10% of the transportation funds and it's mandatorily set aside for beautification projects. I'll give you a couple examples. $1 million for a turtle tunnel in Florida, $100,000 for a squirrel sanctuary in Tennessee, and in my hometown, $200,000 for a movie theater in the Corvette Museum. This is the kind of stuff when our bridges are falling down. What I've said is take the beautification money and set it aside and put it in a bridges fund. I rode with the president on Air Force One and I asked him directly about this and he said he would think about it. I haven't heard back from him. If you see him, ask him if he's going to help me with my bill.
Somehow I don't think he'll be speaking with me, but I'll be happy to ask him. I think he's just an inveterate social planner from Washington, and I think things are hopeless until someone else occupies the White House. Do you agree with me?
Well, you know, when I talk to him personally, he's a very likable person. He seems like if we could sit together, we could work out a problem. But then as soon as we got off the plane, it was millionaires are paying less in taxes than secretaries and carpenters, and it's just untrue. The average millionaire in our country pays 29% of their income in taxes. The average carpenter pays about 15%. So it's all untrue and predicated on a falseness or a falsity.
Got it. Senator Rand Paul, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Earlier today, the president touted